episode, I have a very special guest. Brittany Long and I actually met in FinCon earlier this year in September, and I was so excited to learn all about how to grow your revenue for your membership, for your coaching program, for your high ticket service, or maybe you have an event like a retreat coming up in 2023. And you're thinking about ways to really prep your Q4 for the next stage of growth. And I'm all about anti hustle. And I really believe that growing peaceful profits has to do with getting the right type of support. And that's why when I connected with Brittany, she was able to clearly provide some really great tips and strategies to grow your revenue this holiday season. If you're still on the fence for Black Friday and you're not exactly sure where to get started with your email promotions and holiday campaigns, then this is the training session for you. So I'm joined today by Brittany, and I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Brittany so that she can tell you a little bit more about how to make the most out of the Black Friday and holiday season with email. Brittany, thanks so much for being here.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm not sure if you can see me or the screen right now. Which one is it?
I can see you. I can
Okay,
see you.
perfect. Well, hey everybody. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about Black Friday and how to become a success story without like going into that hustle cycle that I don't think anybody really wants. And so yeah, I will go ahead and share my screen and let's see. All right, I can see it. If you can see the screen, Melody, can you let me know? It's the Become a Black Friday Success Story screen.
Yes, I can see it. Looks great.
Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead and hop in. I'm a former middle school science teacher years and years ago, but I bring a lot of that into my presentation so that you know ahead of time what you're going to be learning, and then we recap it as well at the end. If you have any questions as you're watching this, make sure you put it in the chat. I'm happy to answer any questions that come up for you. Let's go ahead and hop in. So we're going to be talking about how to run a stress-free Black Friday promotion, the sequences you need to make your Black Friday a success, and how to get the most out of your Black Friday promotion. I'm Brittany Long. I'm the queen of Evergreen. I teach people how to write emails because I know the impact that reliable income can have on you and your family and your community. So I specifically talk about automated email marketing, but then also we look at big sale seasons like Black Friday as well. My goal when I look at Black Friday for myself, for my clients, is always how can I make a bigger impact? How can I enjoy what I'm doing? How can I spend more time with those I love? And how can I make lots of money? But also do it in a way that is cohesive and aligned with who I am and what I want out of this life. I actually had a cancer scare. I think it was 2016, and it really shifted my perspective on like this mentality of like hustle, hustle, hustle. I used to be all about that, but then after that cancer scare, especially, I thought, oh my gosh, we are not promised tomorrow. I need to figure out how to love what I'm doing right now versus waiting until some point in the future that may or may not happen. All right, so phase one of this presentation is how to run a Black Friday stress-free Black Friday promotion. This is great if you want a cash injection. And actually, let me say this. We love Black Friday offers. I love them as a consumer. I love them as a business owner. As a business owner, I love them because it gives us that cash injection, which means we can do bonuses for our team. It means that we can maybe do a high ticket hire if we want to. It means we have a little bit more bumper room. It means we can do bonuses for ourselves or a vacation. There's just a lot more opportunities when you have that. And it doesn't have to just be regulated to you and your team or just you. It can be, how can I impact my community with maybe a donation that I wouldn't otherwise be able to give? So there's a lot of different things that you can do with that cash injection. And if you have an offer you'd like to promote, or if you want to test something out, Black Friday is a great time to do that. If there's a way that offer can lead to something in the future, for example, one of our offers will in the future lead to a mastermind. And so this is a great time for us to do that original offer at a lower price, a discount. And we'll talk about what to do if you don't want to do a discount too. But it kind of gives you a way in. So there's a few questions to ask yourself to run a Black Friday promotion with ease. And the first question is, what does success look like for you? So if you're watching this right now or on the replay, go ahead and comment. Let us know, what does a Black Friday success look like for you? Or I guess the better question is, what does success look like for you this holiday season? So for me, thinking about what success would look like, it is not staying up all night writing emails or doing promotions or something like that. It's doing things that I enjoy doing in my business. It's having stuff set up ahead of time so that I'm not, locked into my computer. It's baking. I'm in Florida, and so this is like the only time of the year that it starts to cool down, and you're not sweating the moment you go outside. So I want to be outside. I want to be at pumpkin patches. I want to be baking. I don't want to be inside at a desk all day. And so for me, when I think about Black Friday success, yes, it's making that money. Yes, it's making that cash injection, but there's also that lifestyle piece of it too. And so that's for me what success looks like for me this time of year. And I'm curious what it looks like for you. So Melody, if anybody has that coming in, I'd love to hear it as they come in. So this is the most important part. If you try to plan your Black Friday promotion without first looking at what success looks like for you, it can end up being a stressful Black Friday for you, and just kind of a hectic one too. And I'm saying that from experience because I've spent many years doing that exact thing, thinking, oh, it'll be easier next year. I will not be stressed out about it next year. But it kept happening again and again because I didn't have, the systems in place, because I was trying to do something new every single time, because I wasn't keeping at the forefront what my main focus and my main goal was for this time of year. And so I kept getting wrapped up in what everybody else was doing, what I was supposed to, quote unquote, be doing, instead of focusing on what success looked like for me. All right, so the second question to ask yourself is, what kind of promotion period feels right for you and your audience? A lot of times we as business owners will talk about, well, what does my audience want? What's important for them? But it's also equally important to ask what's important for me as well. What do I need as well? And so when we're looking at Black Friday, there's actually 4 different promotion periods between, in November that you can be making. The first one is Black Friday to Cyber Monday, which is the most common one. 10 or 12 days of deals, and then Gray November. And we're going to talk about each of those so you can decide which one's best for you. Now, one-day Black Friday sale is really great for people that have a wait list, people that have a high-ticket offer that's going to sell out. If you're a service provider, you're a coach, you're a consultant, and you have a limited number of spots that you can potentially fill, because it is like a one-on-one sort of situation, you're working with people, this is a great time to sell it out in a day. It's nice because then you don't have to do all this extra marketing and you get it done with. And it's not necessarily to say that you have to discount it. You can if you want, but you could also add a special bonus because it's this time of year, and do that instead. Now, this one isn't used as often. It's not as effective unless you have that tight, like I can only take on this many people, then it can be incredibly effective. If you're going to do this, make sure you use a wait list to make sure it sells out. Otherwise, you'll have to, continue to market, and nobody wants to do that, or at least I don't. So those are some tips for doing a one-day Black Friday sale. If you're doing Black Friday through Cyber Monday, this is the most common one. So if you've done it before, you've probably done something like this. You can use it for products, services, digital goods, coaching, consulting. You can use it for anything. If you're doing high ticket, limited supply works best, just like we were talking about in the last one, especially if there's a wait list. And you're going to want to warm up your emails, you're going to want to warm up your email list ahead of time. If you don't warm up your email list ahead of time, you're not going to see as good of sales during Black Friday as you would otherwise. So make sure you're starting even like today. Today's a great day to send a warm up email. And if you're thinking, well, I'm not sure what to say in that email, you can talk about what you've been working on, how that applies to them, how it benefits them, how it helps them. Maybe you're working on a new offer that's going to help them X, Y, and Z. That's a great thing to talk about. And then anytime I haven't emailed in a while or I'm doing a warm up, I like to give some kind of gift, some kind of thank you for being on my list. Often we see fewer unsubscribers when people receive some kind of gift as well. And it can be something you've already created. You don't have to create anything new, but some kind of just a thank you gift, a thank you link to a checklist, a link to an SOP. It can be something as easy as that. And then it's super important that when you're making your offer that it's really clear, because there's so many different offers going out this time of year. If your offer isn't clear, they're not going to spend the time trying to figure it out. So test it out on people that you know that are in your audience. Ask them if they can take a look at it. Maybe you give them an extra bonus because of it, or maybe that's just an exchange that you all have in place. But either way, super important that it's really clear. So test it out with a few different people. Ask them to look over it before you send it out. I like to say if you put it in front of a 5th grader and they can't really tell you what it's about, then we probably need to make some edits to it and get a little bit more clear. The next one is 10 days of deals or 12 days of deals, either one. These can be the same offer or multiple deals. This is especially great if you have different offers that you want to try out or different pieces of an offer. Let's say you're a service provider and you normally do VIP days. And the VIP day, usually there's 4 or 5 different pieces of that VIP day offer. So what you can do is pull each of those apart That also helps you not have to do a discount as well if you're like pulling them apart. So let's say your VIP day is normally like 4,500. If you have 4 pieces to it, maybe each piece is $97 or a little over 90. Sorry, not 97, 997. And that way it's less expensive for the person that would be coming to you. So it's still a great deal for them, but it's not as in depth as it normally would be. And so you get to try out all these different pieces and see what pieces are resonating most with people. That lets you know how to adjust your sales page for your VIP day. You can also try out different wording and messaging and see what works and doesn't work, because you're going to have more eyes on your deals this month than almost any other month. If you're using high ticket, having a wait list, a catalog, happy hour, something like that to get them really, really excited for your offer. Especially if you're doing high ticket, this is important because there's going to be a lot of different offers vying for their attention. So if you put out the offer that you want, getting them excited about it, hyping it up ahead of time is a great idea. We've used a catalog before. I've worked with people that have done happy hours and Q&As. And a lot of times what we see is that people just want to be around you more. Like they want to hang out with you more. They want to learn from you more. And so those are great options as like bonuses or just to get them hyped up. If you do disappearing bonuses normally, I wouldn't do them during Black Friday. Typically, disappearing bonuses are a little bit confusing. They take a little bit of extra time to explain. And so if you don't have that really clear ahead of time, then you could be losing some sales there. So disappearing bonus, for anybody that doesn't know, that's like on day 1 saying, okay, if you buy today, you get 4 bonuses. And then day 2, okay, if you buy today, you get 3 bonuses. And it keeps going down until they don't get any bonuses. And the problem with that is that it's confusing, but then also you'll get people that see it on day, 4 or 5, and they're like, oh man, I'm not going to get any bonuses. I might as well wait until next time when they do more bonuses. And so you have people waiting on it instead. The next one is Gray November. Now, if this is your first Black Friday sale, I wouldn't recommend doing this one. If you've been doing the same Black Friday sale for a few years, this is a great option. Also, if you're e-commerce, this is a great option as well. We see Amazon doing this really well. So if you're trying to figure out what you want to do maybe for next year, watch what Amazon is doing this year during the entire month of November. They do daily deals, and you'll also see, I mentioned here, having like fun events or surprises along the way. So you'll see they do daily deals. They also do countdowns. They say this deal is going away in X amount of minutes or hours. And then they have the next one. This deal is coming up in X amount of hours. So they're building that hype. They're building that excitement through having those countdown timers. You can also do bonuses, giveaways, special surprises, special surprise guests, as a few different ways to keep them engaged throughout. You can email every day or every few days. If you're doing a different deal every day, I would email every day. And I would also give them the catalog ahead of time. I don't know if you all experienced this. When I was growing up, there was always I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was like Sears or maybe Toys R Us, something like that, but they'd send the catalog to your house. You get it and you open it up, you circle the things you want. So we want to bring that kind of magic with whatever offer you're providing. And for me, that makes it a lot more fun too. So I always have a lot more, it's always easier for me to run a sale or a launch when I'm having a lot of fun. So that's what I personally do, or that's what I like doing. All right, question 3. Actually, let me go back here. So we talked about 4 different kinds of offers. If you're watching now or on the replay, go ahead and comment. Let us know which one sounds most appealing to you. Black Friday through Cyber Monday, 10 days of deals, or Gray November. All right, now the next question is, what kind of offers do you want to make during Black Friday? There's a lot to choose from. You can do e-com, digital products, medium ticket like courses, coaching, gift cards, consulting, pretty much anything you can think of. Go for it. Again, as long as it's not a disappearing bonus. There are a few, though, that I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't recommend anything that's reoccurring. Not only do you have to sell them on your current offer, the thing they're paying for right now, but also what they're going to be paying for in the future. And then offers with multiple pieces that are unrelated. So for example, our Black Friday offer is going to be our Evergreen email course. And so if I said, hey, you can get this Evergreen email course and this funnel course and this design course, because they're not all on the same line, and because it doesn't solve the next immediate problem, I'm going to have a hard time selling some of those subsequent ones. So I want to be making sure that anything that I'm offering is like solves that next immediate problem. For example, with our course, we're going to be selling like the upsells and stuff that we have after that is more templates. And then for the bonuses, I'm like, okay, one of the questions people say is, well, I can't write emails very fast. It takes me here forever. So we'll include the bonus, the 5-minute email framework that we have as a bonus. If I have people saying, I would love to I'd love to send out more emails, but I don't have any kind of list, and it feels like a waste of time because I'm not building my list. So for that case, I would say, okay, no problem. Here's how to build your list with this workshop that I have, and that could be another bonus. So I'm thinking, what are the next problems they have, or what are the objections they're going to have to this offer that I'm making right now? And so when I think about that, that is how I kind of put together the offer and the bonuses and the upsells. If you're doing 1 month free offers, that doesn't usually do as well on Black Friday either. People are looking for a deal, not something that's going to shoot up, next month after. And then typically anything that's $10,000 plus, that's going to be a different audience than like the deal audience usually. And so if you have a $10,000 plus offer, what you can do is pull apart some of those pieces and sell those individual pieces instead in order to still make an offer without basically cannibalizing yourself by having something that's $10,000 that not as many people are going to be on board with during this particular season. Now, there's a lot of questions that I often get when it comes to email marketing for Black Friday or just in general. And one of them is, what if I'm afraid to email them? Usually I hear this from somebody that has gotten a negative email back at some point, or from somebody that feels like they're bothering their list. I have been in both camps. I've felt both of these ways before. So from experience, I'm answering this. You'll get a lot fewer angry emails than you think. So let me start there. And even when you do get angry emails, typically it's going to be from people that have something else going on in your life, and you happen to be the person that pops up on their screen, and they kind of take it out on you. That does not happen as often as you might think. In fact, we have a list of, for another brand that we run, we have a list of over 25,000. And with that list, I've only had one time I can think of where somebody emailed back and they were like really rude. And when that happened, I responded to them and I said, hey, they said something like, hey, I can't believe that you're charging for X, Y, and Z. This was the brand that we help teachers who want to get out of teaching. We help them do that. I can't believe that you're charging teachers to, do their resume or whatever it was. And so I actually just responded back really nicely. And I explained, hey, actually, I think you have a few things incorrect here. Here's the truth of it. I said, here's all the resources we have. And we have so many resources. So it was like podcasts and blog posts and blah, 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 like 4 years worth of resources. And I just sent that back really nice. And she responded. She was embarrassed. She felt bad. She apologized. And then she still checks in on me from time to time to see how I'm doing. And so even when that happens, there's somebody on the other side of the screen and something's going on. Typically, something's going on with them. And so you have the opportunity to show kindness and hopefully bring a little bit of brightness and light into their life that maybe they are missing right now. So that's one different perspective to think about it. And then the other thing of, well, like, I feel like I'm bothering them. So with that, I have people that I'm good friends with that are business owners as well, that I didn't totally know what they did because they never told me. They weren't emailing about it. They weren't saying it out loud. And so once I finally found out, actually, there's somebody else that worked with them. I finally found out what it is that they actually did. I was like, why didn't you tell me about this earlier? I would have loved to buy this from you. And so sometimes there's people on our list that want to buy from us. They love us. They love what we're doing. They just don't know what we have to offer. So super important that you do email your list because, well, especially if you focus on serving them and helping them. So they're going to find a solution from somebody. It might as well be you. Now, if you're thinking, I haven't emailed them or haven't been emailing them, what do I do now? So this is a great time to start warming them up. If you don't start warming them up now and then you do a Black Friday offer, it's kind of like, having that weird cousin or something that only reaches out when they want $200, but you never hear from them any other time. And so you want to make sure that you're reaching out to them now so that it feels like you're there for them. You're building that relationship with them, not just asking them, making the ask when you're offering something. So if you haven't emailed in a while or haven't been emailing, this is a great time to update them on what you're working on as it applies to them. So let's say, for example, if I haven't emailed on my list in a while, I could say, hey, I've been working on updating this particular course so that you can X, Y, and Z. And then I also always like to give some kind of gift or resource as well that's free for them and is easy for them to use and click on or reply to. What do I say? So this is another great question. I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for a second so that I can pull up another link. So there's a website called spyfu.com, answerthepublic.com, and ubersuggest.com. And I'm going to show you each of those just briefly. Let me share my screen. All right. Okay, there we go. So the first one is spyfu.com. So let's say you're a social media manager. Let's see. social media business. So I'm going to type in social media business. Let's see. When looking to expand your business internationally, we're talking about social media. What different businesses use social media? So give me some examples. How to use social media for small business. You can even do an email that talks specifically about one kind of social media. What are the benefits of using social media? How businesses manage their social media? How to use social media for business. So there's a bunch of questions here and here. You can be more specific, less specific, but this is a great free website to use. If you want more, like if I click on view all here, it's going to show me a lot more. Well, it's going to show me a few more, and then I can pay to see a lot more. But you don't have to pay. Like this is usually enough for me to get ideas on what I can write about. So we have a few things here as well. And then let's say I do the same thing here. Now, answer the public, you can usually do, I think it's 5 per day, and I may have reached my limit. So we're going to give it a try and see if it lets me. Okay. So social media, we scroll in and we see a few different questions that people are asking, how social media affects our lives. So that one, if you're a social media manager, you can talk about how maybe you've done some training on how to use social media without it consuming your life. So you can give them a few tips on that. That would be an example. So you can see the things that people are searching here. If we scroll out, we can also go down and see more questions, lots of questions that people are asking about social media. And then the same thing with Uber Suggest. It's pretty much, it's really similar. But all of those give you an idea of the kind of things that you can write in your emails based on what people are saying. With what do I say? You can also look in your inbox too. What questions are people asking you? Or if you're posting on TikTok, you can see what comments people are leaving, what questions they're asking there. The next question I usually get is, how do I send emails without feeling salesy? For me, I shift my focus to my audience and how I'm helping them. Again, they're going to get help from somebody. It might as well be you. And so I focus on heavy on value and then making that offer too. And when I make my offers, I know the offers that I have are genuinely helpful to my audience. And so instead of feeling bad, I think, great, this is giving them a shortcut. And so a lot of this of how do I send emails without feeling salesy is simply a mindset shift. The next one is, how often do you email during Black Friday? I'm going to show you, if you're doing Black Friday through Cyber Monday, I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like, but typically it's once a day. And then how do you cut through the noise of Black Friday and the millions of emails that go out that day? It's knowing your audience's language, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and really putting yourself in their shoes. If they open emails from you and feel seen and feel heard, it's a lot more likely they're going to continue to open emails from you. If they're opening emails from you that are value-driven, that are helpful, that are giving them helpful resources or advice, another reason they're going to keep coming to you. And so focusing on your audience, focusing on how you can help them, and focusing on the language that they're using. Now, when I'm thinking about the language that they're using, I wasn't going to share this, but I am now. So it'll take just a second for that to come up. But when I'm thinking about the language that I'm using and putting myself in their shoes, here are the kind of questions that I'm asking myself. Let me pull it up. There we go. So first, I think, what are their symptoms? In other words, what patterns do I see for this audience? Now, for us, because I'm on so many summits and podcasts and challenges and things like that, I have a very broad audience. I have people that are just starting out, that don't have a domain yet, don't have an email service provider yet. And then I have anywhere from there in between to people that have been doing this for like a decade and a half and have emails down. They just don't want to do it anymore. So this is for the people that I work with that are just starting out, they're brand new. Typically, they tell me they're tired, they're working too hard, they're sometimes ready to burn everything to the ground. They're thinking about doing an agency, but they don't realize, because they don't have the systems, that it's going to really backfire for them. They typically want more money, more flexibility, less pressure. They want to know that everything's going to work out. Now, I want you to put yourself in those shoes for a minute. Think about how it feels when you're working on your business and you just want everything to work out. I know for me, when I was in that position, I was tossing and turning at night. I'd lay awake thinking, how I'm going to make this happen. I was working like 16, 18-hour days. So when I start to think about how did it feel when I experienced this? And if your audience isn't like past you, then you can ask somebody else, how did it feel when this was happening to you? And then I look at how I can help. So here I have different offers, but then I also look at the first thing. So what's the first domino that they need to understand in order to move to the next domino? For example, if they don't understand how email marketing will help them, then trying to talk about where to get started with email marketing, what email service provider is right for them, it's not going to resonate. It's not going to matter. So this one has to come first. So when I'm thinking about my audience, this is what I'm looking at. This is the kind of messaging that I'm thinking about. Pardon me, man. All right, phase 2, what emails do you need for a successful Black Friday sale? If you don't already have a pen and pencil nearby, I'm going to just pause for a minute so that you can grab that, because you're going to definitely want to write this down. All right, the first kind of emails you're going to want are pre-launch emails. Typically, these are 4 to 6 emails. They go out a week to 2 weeks. I should say 2 weeks instead of 10 days before the launch. It engages them, it requests their reply, it busts objections before they even have them. Really what we want to do here is we want to get them replying or taking action on that email so that by the time Black Friday comes around, they're used to that. These emails are very light. The request to reply, that's at like reply and let me know X, Y, and Z. And whatever it is, it's very non-committal. It's very, it's not, it's nothing that they have to sit and think about for hours, because they're not going to respond if you do that. So it could be something as simple as reply and let me know when you sent your last email. How long has it been? All right, number 2 is Black Friday launch emails. Typically, these are 7 to 10 emails. It addresses their concerns, it elicits their curiosity. The goal of launch emails, whether it's Black Friday or any kind of launch emails, is simply to get them to the sales page. You're not trying to sell them on that email, you're trying to sell them to get to the sales page. So in other words, you're trying to just push them to sales page. The reason is in your emails, if you've ever read an email that's really, really long, you just keep scrolling. And typically at least 50% of your audience is on their phone when they're reading your emails. And so instead of trying to put everything that's in a sales page on the email, having them read a giant long email, then go to sales page, read a giant long sales page, instead we just want to get them enough curiosity to get to the sales page, give them enough information to get them to the sales page. And then the sales page takes it from there with the formatting, with the testimonials, with the FAQs, everything that you normally have on a sales page. You can't have all that in an email. And so the sales page acts as that place where they get the whole sales experience. The email is like opening the door and inviting them in. The sales page is like sitting down and actually talking to them about it. Each email that we send out, though, has a different micro angle and a different objection to bust. And the reason for this is because different people are going to have different objections. And again, we only need to bust the objection enough to get them to the sales page where you can go more in depth on that. Now, the third kind of email during this season is abandoned cart emails. 70 to 85% of potential buyers abandon their cart. So that means anywhere from 7 to 8.5 people that make it to your cart end up bouncing out. And so it's super, super important that you have these emails in place. Every once in a while, people will say to me, well, Brittany, I feel bad sending abandoned cart emails, because if they were shopping at my store in person, I would basically be like, standing behind them being like, why didn't you buy? Why didn't you buy? But shopping online and shopping in person are two completely different things. For example, if I'm shopping in person, the chances of my kid trying to take off her diaper and run around naked are pretty slim. But if I am shopping at home, the chances are not as slim. Also, she is really into markers right now and wants to try to draw on every single wall in our house. And so there are a lot of distractions when you're at your house that you wouldn't have in a store. And so when you're at your house, well, actually, in a few other reasons, just I guess to give some insight as to why people may not buy. A few reasons that I have where I've wanted to buy something, but I didn't. I have my phone that is giant. I don't know if you can see me on here, but I have my phone that's giant. It's like the size of my face. And so trying to use my thumbs to pay for stuff is incredibly frustrating to me. And I would just rather wait until I got back to my computer to pay for something. But if I'm not getting an abandoned cart email, sometimes I will forget or I can't find it again. And that also is very frustrating because I actually want to give them money. The other thing that has happened for me before is I'll have my credit card downstairs. I don't want to go downstairs in the moment because I'm in the flow where I'm working on something. So I think I'll do it later. And then I don't do it later unless they send me abandoned cart emails and remind me. And now I've had this happen where I wanted people to send me abandoned cart emails. Like often I will actually put in my name and email address, assuming that they will, and then they don't. There's these jeans I saw on Facebook. It was a Facebook ad, and I was so excited about them. The models that were in there had like my same body type and stuff like that. And I thought, this is it. These are the jeans that like I'm going to walk out of the house and just be like, stunning in, absolutely stunning in. This is it. And so I was so excited about them, but we had to run out to my nephew's soccer game. I got home. I'm looking for abandoned cart emails. Nothing. I can't remember the name of the company anymore. I still have not been able to find them, and I still would like to buy those jeans. And so you are helping people get what they want especially if they were distracted. And that happens a lot, especially during Black Friday. So there may be other things that is why they didn't buy. For example, maybe they don't want it, but they could also want it, but just have a few more questions, or want it, but think it's not for them because maybe the sales page wasn't clear, or they just have additional questions. And so these emails give you an opportunity to meet them where they're at. Now, typically I do 4 emails for this. During Black Friday, it's a little bit different. I usually will send out emails to anybody that didn't buy each of the days during Black Friday, simply because usually I would automate it, have it send out automatically. But with Black Friday, because it's a certain amount of time, I do it a little different. So usually I send 15 minutes after, 1 day after, 2 days after, and 3 days after. That would work at the beginning. If, let's say, they abandoned the cart at the beginning of the week, wouldn't work if they abandoned at the end of the week. And you can do it so that if they come to the page and put in their name and email address, but don't buy, then it shoots out to them. All right, the next thing is onboarding emails. So if you don't want to be working 24/7 after the sale, the sequence is vital. It gives them a good experience from the start. This is really important. I saw a TED Talk on this where they said if you have somebody that has a negative experience at the beginning, it's nearly impossible to try to get them excited and trusting you afterwards because they've already had a bad experience. However, if they have a great experience at the beginning, you may make a major mistake later on, but because they had a great experience at the beginning, they're much more likely to forgive that and think, oh, it's no big deal. You know, this stuff happens, versus if they had a negative experience at the beginning. So this helps you set them up for success, and you set up the relationship with them for success as well. With these emails, we want to make sure they know where to get the help they need, where to start. This is if you're doing like courses, for example, and you have, or a membership, and you have, like if you want to get started with this thing, start here. If you have questions about this piece of it, start here. But giving them a pathway or a place to start helps them feel taken care of, and also shows that you have thought enough about this that you're anticipating their needs, which is a big deal. The next one is upsell or downsell emails. I should say 5, not 4. I just realized upsell or downsell emails. This is for those who didn't buy your upsell or downsell, another opportunity. And sometimes people will tell me, well, Brittany, I don't have that big of a list, so I'm not sure if I should do a Black Friday sale, or I don't have that big of a list, so I can't make as many sales as I want to. But you don't even necessarily need to grow your list. I'm not saying don't grow your list. That's a great idea. But even if your list stays the same, you can still increase your average customer value, your average customer lifetime value, or average cart value, so that you're making more from the customers you already have, instead of always having to have more customers. This is a really smart way to increase your revenue without necessarily increasing how many people you have on your list. Now, the benefit for them is that they get a special deal again. They have another option to get that. We do this on, so we give people the option to do upsells and downsells. And then if they don't, on the fulfillment page, we say, hey, in case you missed it, you can still get these for this special deal. But this is the last time you'll see this. So we give them another option. You can do that in emails. You can do it on a landing page. You can do it on both. But it gives them one more chance to get that special deal. Sometimes if people are brand new, they may feel nervous about buying from you or buying these upsells and such. So giving them the opportunity to kind of see what it's like to work with you first, or see what it's like to buy from you first, and then give them the opportunity to buy again is really helpful, both for them and for you. Now, the next one is phase 4. That's how to optimize your Black Friday promotion. We've talked about a lot so far. So just kind of to recap real quick, we have 5 different sequences we talked about: pre-launch emails, Black Friday launch emails, abandoned cart emails, onboarding emails, and then upsell and downsell emails. Now, if you're saying, "Oh my gosh, that is a lot of freaking emails. How am I gonna do all these, Brittany?" Remember, you don't have to do all of it right now. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can get help from somebody like me that knows how to write all of these. You can do them yourself with templates, or you can also say, you know what, I'm going to commit to doing 3 of these sequences or 4 of these sequences, and then next year run the same sale and add those other ones to it. That makes it less stressful for you, makes it easier for you, and you don't feel like you have to work 27 million hours in one day, which is physically impossible. All right, so phase 4, we're going to talk about how to reduce the number of unsubscribers. So first of all, if we want to reduce the number of unsubscribers, we have to add the option to unsubscribe. And I know that sounds probably counterintuitive, but when you're doing some kind of launch, there's going to be people on your list that just simply aren't interested in the thing that you're launching. For example, we have something that's a Black Friday VIP day, and what people do is work with us. We write their emails for them. We give it back to them in 72 hours. They're ready to go. They can mark that off their to-do list. But not everybody on my list is doing a Black Friday deal this year. So for the people that aren't doing Black Friday deals, it doesn't make sense for me to continue to send them emails about the Black Friday VIP day because they're not going to be running a Black Friday promotion. And so I say at the top of these emails, hey, if you're not running a Black Friday promotion, click here so you don't get any more emails about this particular, like about Black Friday VIP days. Don't worry, you'll still stay on our list. This is great because they stay on your main list, but they just don't get the emails they don't want to get. So this is great for them and great for you. The next thing to do is warm up your list ahead of time, and we've already talked about that. And then surprise and delight them with gifts, giveaways, bonuses. In other words, treat them like a human and not an ATM. In a lot of ways, your email list is an ATM, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Hopefully, you'll be able to see my calculator. But let's say you have a list of 3,000 people and an open rate of 35%. That's 1,050 people that are going to open your email. Now, from there, let's say you have a 3% click rate, which means 31 people are going to make it to your sales page. During Black Friday, the conversion rate usually is much higher for sales pages. So let's say you have a 10% conversion rate from that sales page. That means 3.15 people from every email you send, you can expect them to buy from you. Now, if we multiply that, let's say you have a $9.97 course that you're offering during Black Friday, that's 3,100 from one email that you sent during Black Friday. So in a lot of ways, like I said, it is almost like an ATM having an email list, but there's always somebody on the other side of that computer. So we want to make sure we're not just, like I said earlier, sending emails when we want something. We want to make sure we're sending emails. So there's that, it's a two-way street. It's not just gimme, and then I'll send over the offer to you. It's how can I be there for you even when I'm not making offers? So surprising and delighting them with gifts, giveaways, and bonuses. And then give them a reason to not unsubscribe from your entire list. In other words, make sure your emails are value-driven, they're helpful, they're encouraging, inspiring, educational, whatever you want them to be. We want to make sure that your audience is getting some kind of value from it. And then we want to write better subject lines. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. We want to start to make a better subject line. We want to start with curiosity, something that's going to be interesting for them, something that opens a loop that's so wacky they have to know. An example, I think it was yesterday, I sent an email that said, are you ice skating on your list, on your email list? And I had a lot of folks open that and also tell me like they really love that. It was interesting, but it opens a loop for them. Like, what is she talking about? Another one I sent out recently was, I'm going streaking. Are you in? Now, I'm not talking about being like on a football field or something like that. I was talking about streaking as in having a habit that I'm doing every single day, making a streak habit. But it opened the loop. It was interesting. And so we had a lot of opens on that one as well. You can also test using subjectline.com, but you want to start with curiosity, then test and start with that human side of it. So let me give you an example. So subjectline.com, you can log in or sign up for it. When you sign up for it, you get to use it for free. You can use it. I haven't found a limit to it yet, and I use it a lot. So you can use that as much as you'd like. So here's an example. Do you have kids? Question mark. Actually, let me do another one. Let's see. So here's one, a workflow that works. Not super, super interesting. If I'm doing one about my Black Friday offer, I could talk about, so the offer is called Payday Every Day. It's the evergreen email system that we use to make sales every day and on autopilot. So I'm going to say you don't have to go to work. And you'll see a few things here. You'll see I'm using the ellipses here. That kind of helps open the loop. I have a capital Y here. Let's see what happens. Now, I haven't tested this one yet, so I don't know. Okay, 97 out of 100, not bad. Now, I'm going to go back to the other one just to show you an example of how using this tool and making a few shifts can make a big difference. So this is one a client of ours used before working with us. Do you have kids? Question mark, all lowercase. With just 2 shifts, we did a capital D, and then 3 ellipses, and then the question mark after that. That bumped it up to a 96. So simple tweaks, little tweaks in your subject line can make a huge difference, but we always want to start with curiosity first. All right, now let's go to subject line tips and examples. I would recommend screenshotting this. I'll give you a minute to do that. All right, when you're using a subject line, some patterns that I've noticed after writing I don't know what feels like 35 billion subject lines. Maybe not that many, but I have written a lot of subject lines and tested a lot of subject lines with split testing and a few other things too. But adding you or your to a subject line almost guarantees that more people are going to open it. Capitalizing on the first letter of the first word, using emotive words or power words. In other words, words that evoke an emotion, a feeling, an image. Those are the kind of words we want to use. So instead of saying it was amazing, we want to say it was jaw dropping, it was shocking, it was terrifying, it was heartwarming. Adding an emoji, using ellipses, the dot, 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 parentheses, brackets, question marks, and then for some reason avoiding commas because I'm not sure why. It's some weird thing, but for some reason, anytime we've used commas, usually they lower the open rate. And then having one word on all caps is okay. Usually I recommend only one word, not more than one. All right, here's a few examples. This one, giveaway, all caps. We have some punctuation here. Dot, 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 5 more winners. So a few things. We had winners here. This is a big deal because this was obviously during a giveaway and people are looking to see if their name's on it. You'll notice there's no comma here, even though grammatically that would be correct. And the reason for that is because we know if we add a comma, it's going to lower it. This one, up to 75% off, gone in 1 hour, Brittany. Again, you'll notice no comma here. They have the personalization, which I like. There's the number 1 here. I'm going to say that on the last slide. Numbers usually do well. We have a percentage here, and then 1 capital letter. This one, last chance. This has a lot of great urgency built into it, and we have the emoji, capital L. This one, the best Cyber Monday deal for rediscovering your fitness in 2022. So here's how I would change this one. I would take out the, capitalize B in best. I'd say best Cyber Monday fitness deal in 2020, well, now 2023. And so just, again, a few simple tweaks. We cut out a few words. It made it a lot shorter because right now, if the person sent it just like this, it would cut off after the 4. We wouldn't be able to see any of this. Rediscovering your fitness in 2022 would be cut off because subject lines, you only have so much space for them. So that's how I would update that. Hopefully that's helpful and gets you kind of thinking about some of your subject lines. Now here's a few more. Last minute change, important. Typically, we want to reduce the amount of times we're using the word important or urgent. Usually, if you use it too much, we're going to see some issues there. But if you use it every once in a while, it's okay. We also have the L here for this capitalized, the hyphen, and the exclamation mark. I wouldn't recommend using multiple exclamation marks or multiple question marks, just one. Next, we have ends today. Buy 1, get 9 trainings free, save 97%. So I would probably move the save 97% up here or the free up here. Usually we'll want the most important thing or the most interesting thing towards the front. Next, the biggest sale I've ever seen on these. So a few things I changed here. I would do biggest in lowercase except for the B. Keep sale in all caps. I would change I've to you've and then ever seen on these, exclamation mark. Calling all fence sitters. I've used this in a few different brands, a few different niches. I hate that word. I never know how to say it. And this one always does really well. So the capital C, the dot, 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 and it's very image driven. This one, open if you're ready to leave teaching. Very clear who it's for, capital O, capital or exclamation mark here. And then we have the you or your. Here we have an emoji. Here's $100, exclamation mark. And we also have the punctuation of the number. I chased my teller for 2 hours to bring this deal. I would probably move this. This is one I did a few years ago. I would probably move this to deal, all caps, dot, dot, what is it called? I can't think of it right now. So 2 dots on top of each other, colon, deal. And then I chased my toddler for 2 hours to bring this to you. Something like that is how I change it. Now, we covered a lot in this presentation. We talked about how to run a Black Friday promotion with ease and not stress, the most important emails for Black Friday, and how to get the most of your Black Friday promotion. I have talked a little bit about myself. I love emails. Whenever people say, Brittany, why do you do email marketing? The reason that I do it is because I had this conversation with my dad years and years ago. He had 2 major strokes. He was in ICU, and I'll never forget how he looked at me when he said, I wish I would have spent more time with you and your brother. And at the time, I was hustling really hard. I was a teacher. Also at the time, my dad was a teacher for 37 years. And I felt like that was the path that I had to take because I liked helping people and it just made sense. But hearing him say that, I thought, okay, no matter what career I'm in, I'm going to make sure that I don't put my work above my family, that I'm able to both do work that I love, but spend time with my family as well. And then that's really when I started diving into email marketing, how email marketing can help, how setting things up ahead of time and having systems ahead of time can make sure that you're not at your desk 24/7, because that's just not a way to live, you know? So next steps here. We have Black Friday abandoned cart email templates for you. You can get those for free. And then I also have, we have other ways that we can help as well. And I know Melody has a bonus too. So let me go ahead and I'll stop sharing my screen. There we go. Hey.
Hey,
Hopefully, I think you can see both of us.
let me see if I can change this. Brittany has been so patient with me. I was like, hey,
No, you've been
why
great.
don't you share some really good training? And she agreed to come on here. And we were last minute going, wait, how do you share your screen on eCam? So always just so wonderful. Thank you so much for that. So Brittany, I know you have some amazing offers, and I actually have a special bonus that I'm going to be sharing to my email list as well. And so, if you're watching the live stream video, I know that there's a lot of people who have been asking me, how do I get in charge of my Black Friday holiday offer? Now, I help people specifically with memberships, especially when they're trying to think about 2022, 2023, and beyond. And so, what I like to do is just help make it easy for you to actually see success. And that success may look differently. Like you were saying, Brittany, sometimes that success might be I don't want to feel tied to my desk. I just want to just get somebody to either support me to do this one on one, right? Or two, to actually get the support where I just need some templates really quick, just drag and drop, customize it to my brand, change a little tweaks because there's a lot of copy, Brittany, as you know, that goes into selling Black Friday offers. And there's so many different strategies. I had a really great conversation with other course creators earlier this week about this. So, first one, I just wanted to share. Michelle has been loving this, and I'm sharing this on the screen. She said, "Gotta go. This has been great for me getting to think about new ideas for Black Friday." She also had something to say as far as the master plan, and we had a couple of other people tuning in from LinkedIn, Facebook, and all of the interwebs. And so I really want to share. Not only is that a great way, you had that slide with the freebies. I'm going to do the replay so that people can access it. But if you join some of the offers that Brittany has and you want to learn more about how Brittany can help, I'm going to be jumping over to LinkedIn audio. And that's where I'm going to be talking with Brittany to ask some questions because we did like we covered probably like the foundational, like I feel like
Right.
I'm like I got an email certificate, like I feel like I need to get like an email certificate, Brittany Long certified. So that was just so
It was a
incredible.
lot. There's a lot of information.
Yes, for sure. So Brittany, I wanted to just thank you again for your time here today. Getting in touch with you is really important for me to let everyone know where people can find you. I'm gonna drop that link onto all of the places where I live stream, where you can grab those free templates. And then if you haven't actually grabbed this training and you're like, hey, I just need to watch this video when I'm not like on Facebook so I can really hyper
Mhm.
focus on what exactly did Brittany say, because there's probably going to be mounds of notes. Then I'm going to get that link out as well so you can take a look at my offers, which is part of how I help people grow their membership, grow that recurring revenue, because I mean, we don't want to hustle all day, all the time. So thank you again, Brittany. Any last thoughts for people who are wanting your support for Black Friday?
I think the biggest thing is to get started today with those warm up emails. Start sending those out as soon as possible. It's just going to make it so much easier for you to have a great Black Friday sale. And then if you need help, don't feel embarrassed about it. Sometimes people will come to me and say, oh, I feel bad. I feel like I should be able to do this, or I can write it, but I'm just so overloaded. There's no reason to feel bad. You are excellent at what you do. It's like a dentist saying, well, I can, do dentistry for other people, so I should do it on myself. Like, we would just think that's ridiculous. And so ask for help if you need it.
Well, awesome, Brittany. Thank you so much for joining me today. Um, if you're brand new to me, welcome. I am so appreciative you've taken the time to watch this. If you could do me a favor, click over to my YouTube channel and click subscribe. I love having other course creators collaborate. Collaborations, connections, and recurring revenue are part of my strategy that I help people with in terms of their coaching business. So I'd love to connect up with you, have some useful details to share with you about the replay and the exclusive bonuses that I'll be connecting up with you all on my newsletter. And if you're not already subscribed, I'm going to drop in some helpful links where you can access Brittany's without the opt in. So Hope this was helpful for you. Thank you so much, Brittany, again for joining me today. Like I said, we're gonna hop on over to LinkedIn. If we're not connected over there, make sure that you DM me on Facebook, Instagram, or drop me a comment on LinkedIn, Facebook, or anywhere that I am, because I will make sure that you get the recap of those. Hope to see you later. Bye.